Hey guys, here's my new video, and of course my best evidence is going to be the hardest for people to see, so please be patient with me as I show you the evidence that I have. If you look here at Central America and you just simply look on the ocean floor, you see what looks like well, like a J, kind of fat J, which to be honest looks like rotation. The other thing that I want to show you is that this is subduction zone according to plate tectonics. What I think we're seeing is we're actually seeing two separate pieces of land, I guess two separate pieces of our planet. And this has been flattened and pushed to the surface or whatever right here. That's why it kind of looks like a big round dough just slapped on a flat surface. The thing is I think these are images of, well, for one, a smaller planet, but they're also images of the planet's creation, because the planet's still being created. It's getting larger. And I don't think people realize that. They've been told something else, so of course they won't realize this. The planet's not done being created. It's still being created. And it must be doing it in reoccurring cataclysms. And what I'm trying to say is that when you see surface features like this, okay, what looks like just a string of land, and it's kind of, it's kind of arched and all that. What you're seeing is you're seeing the smashed results of what used to be I think the center of our Earth. So instead of this being just a curve, this is actually like a curl, like a pig's tail. Like when this was not flattened, it actually had 3 dimensions and it curled. It didn't go like this. It was a curl, which would mean that, like, as if this was spinning separate from this. So what I want to do is combine the two. This means that this flips around and goes upside down. Right here, like that. And then the curl flips it around. And let me show you what happens when you do that. Remember I said that the curl? So I spun this upside down and then I flipped it backwards, because that's what that curl suggests. Now this is going to be hard to see at first, but please give me a chance to show you these alignments on a level that's actually unbelievable. So just let me work this in. Okay, there's a couple things here that we should note. That if you look at North America, you'll see that it's now shaped like an S. And this is usually because of rotation. And when you have rotation, you usually have a central point of where the rotation's taking place. And you could kind of tell it's going to be in this areas right here. But now you got to bear with me, because you got to remember that when this is happening, there is really no gravity. This is all being manipulated and moved by electromagnetism and probably heat. So it's soft. This isn't like solid like how you think it is now. Also notice that the lines on the ocean floor that are next to North America are now pointing at an angle downwards. Now this is going to be hard to see at first. My best evidence is, but you'll notice that the Mid-Atlantic Ridge seems awfully similar to the shape of North America now that it's been put in its original position. As a matter of fact, you can see here's the Mississippi, and you can almost think of maybe like as if it's a place of folding, but it's also, I know it's actually the place of an electrical discharge, because I know where the discharge is and I know it lines up. But like I said, so if you just kind of like fold this backwards out of the way, you can kind of get a more accurate alignment with South America and North America here. I might have to rotate this some more, but you can actually see this is spun out of here. Right now it looks like it would go this way, but we're reversing things, so you could imagine that, this is spinning right out. And my alignments here aren't like plate tectonics alignments when they try to show similarities between two land features. The reason is that mine match even better under tighter scrutiny and better resolution. Because like the truth will always make sense and add up under the tightest scrutiny, no matter how close you get. You can see that there's this hexagonal feature right here. You can see that as I bring this in, you can see that there's also alignments here and here. I don't know if I have time to animate this, so I'm hoping that you can use your imagination, that this either rotates into this position or it rotates around back into this position. But you can see the similarities between here, as this looks like it broke away. See, look at right up here. This is going to take some patience, and I know that I have trolls that have no patience whatsoever, but that's why they can't see these alignments. See this lake here? See this scar right here? Well, we're getting close to Yellowstone Park. You can see that this is the underlying areas of Yellowstone Park and the Grand Canyon and the California Basin. Because notice the shape right here. And like I said, this is either going to go right into it or it's going to rotate around and fit into it. You'll see that there's a river here, and it's got a hexagonal round pattern shape to it right here. You just have to be patient, because look at how close I am to this. Now remember, this is a subduction zone right here, according to plate tectonics. But as I bring this in, you can see that here's Lake Tahoe, and this round area right here, I'm going to use that as a point of alignment. You can start to see that it's obvious that the basin of California has been pulled away from this area, which this could spin around still, and this is the missing inside basin. And as this, say this is like a dam of molten matter, and I'm pushing this all back, well, it's all going to accumulate right there as I bring yellow. Okay, let's see here, like that. See how it, now this, pretend this doesn't go any further than this area right here. It would all start to accumulate. Here is the Grand Canyon. Yellowstone Park is right here. And then I'm going to try and look at, you can see how Yellowstone Park and well, actually, yeah, Yellowstone Park has the Amazon River basically pointing right at it. Well, I think this spins up. Look at Florida. Look at the strange coincidental size and length of Florida matching in this smoothed out area. Remember, when you look at Antarctica, it also has a smoothed out area right behind a peninsula, as if it swept it. And then also, well, for my next video, because believe it or not, this is actually a distraction from my next video, because that's how these work for me. You can see that this area makes a sharp turn into Antarctica, and it does it for a reason. But right now we're not talking about Antarctica. We're talking about this alignment that should never be. Notice that you have this arch right here, and you can just roll this in, but that would take too long for me to do. Use your imagination. Now you'll notice that then there's this peninsula, you know, because I'm sure there's trolls going, well, this is impossible because look at that peninsula sitting off. It doesn't line up with anything. Well, it actually does. You can see that it's the same width as that, but it's also got this feature of like a hook, two of them. Now, if I was to rotate this around, because this is spinning, I can guarantee you that these filamentary mountains here are going to wrap around this area like a corkscrew. But everything's been flattened now, and it's kind of hard to picture that. But watch. This goes into here like this. Then see how it's still, now it's fitting here. This is wrapped up with these mountains. This is starting to come to alignment right here. You see this? This is the Gulf of Mexico, and over here you have this round ball looking thing with what looks like a gigantic lightning bolt coming out of it. This seems to be also shaped very similar to the Gulf of Mexico right here. This is starting to roll up. This area right here with Yellowstone Park and the Grand Canyon looks like this as it's rolling up. This is spinning. It's going to roll up. This is unspiraled to its current positions. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I can guarantee you that no matter who decides to look into this under their best scrutiny, they're going to find out that it's true. Because that's how the truth is. It's just the truth, no matter what. All this is the surface features of our planet are an actual record of its creation. As this rolls up tighter and tighter, all this stuff goes into the Gulf of Mexico. Because the Gulf of Mexico is obviously one depth layer of a gouge that everything came out of. The bigger gouge, this is, okay, if you took a funnel and you cut it into slices, it's going to get wider to narrow. And so are these gouges. And I can tell you where the other bigger gouge is, because there's a giant continent sitting right on top of it called Antarctica. You're not allowed to go down there and look at it, are you? There's probably a good reason for that. It's called censorship. Then the next thing I should do is, if you don't believe that, well, what happens if I take both these areas and slam them on top of Antarctica? Well, I actually have done that already in past videos. But you can see that all my videos, when they're put in the correct orders and stuff like that, they make sense on the whole. The whole grand scheme of it has a story, and there's only one way that this story ends, and all my videos point right to it. You can tell that. Remember, these are these Birkeland currents. They're wrapping around each other. I keep showing people that the reason why I'm confident when I say that is because I know that there's nothing in plate tectonics that can explain why this is going over the top of this that's going below it. You can see the lines. There's nothing in plate tectonics that can explain that, why that would be like that. There are only certain things that make mountains in plate tectonics. Volcanoes, plate collisions, and igneous intrusions. Now, tell me why any of those would be wrapping around one another, like Birkeland currents. Except Birkeland currents. I mean, that's what wraps around one another like that in reality. Instead, we'll just ignore it and pretend that we don't have to worry about that kind of stuff to support our theory. This is Alaska, near the South Pole. And guess what happens when I rotate that back around? It lines up in here. And well, I'll just have to show you that later. But okay. Anyways, it's getting late and it's getting hard to think right now. But look, this is something that cannot be taken lightly. I'm showing you real observable evidence that, for me, 100% proves that plate tectonics is absolutely wrong. Plate tectonics has to be able to explain why these line up if it wants to be a viable theory. Anybody would know that. So ignoring it doesn't mean that I lose here. I mean, ignoring this just means that our science it doesn't care about the truth. It's not about the truth with science anymore. It's about beliefs. The movements that I show in here actually are mimicked in other areas of the planet with continents and surface features. So this isn't a unique thing. This flipping and twisting is actually also found on the other continents and can be lined up with these same continents right here, which I'll probably show you in the big video. Anyways, it should be obvious though. to anybody that plate tectonics and geophysics is having a bad day once they see this. Anyways, thanks for watching.